So hi everyone, my name's Rob McMahon. I'm here from Granville Online at CITR Radio at UBC. And I'm here with Nardwuar, the Human Serviette, who's going to tell us a little bit about punk rock history and some of his favorite historical tidbits on Pacific Northwest punk rock.
Hello, Rob. Thank you for welcoming me, Nardwuar, the Human Serviette from CITR, FM 102, Cable 102, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Right now, yes, in a record library, to Granville magazine. The first thing when I think of punk is the 1950s. Yes, punk started in the 1950s in the Northwest with the fabulous Wailers. These guys had a big hit in 1959. Is punk having a hit? Well, they had a hit where they made it all the way to the Dick Clark Show American Bandstand with their big hit, Tall Cool One. These are the Wailers from Tacoma. Now, what's really amazing is these guys were on the Golden Crest record label. What's so amazing about that? Well, the Golden Crest label, if you look really close, I don't actually have that, actually is what Nardwuar Records ripped off for our logo. But more importantly, they're on Golden Crest, but they became disillusioned with Golden Crest. So in true tradition of the Pacific Northwest, what did people do? When I think of Canada, I think of Portland. When I think of Canada, I think of Washington. I think of Cascadia. It's all together. So the Wailers are on the Golden Crest record label. They have a big hit with Tall Cool One. Then things aren't going so well. So what happens? They create their own record label, Etiquette Records. Etiquette Records out of Tacoma, Washington, then spurns the greatest band ever to come out of the Pacific Northwest, not to come out of Courtney Love. I was going to say come out of Courtney. Some few things have come out of Courtney Love, but not the Pacific Northwest. Well, actually, Courtney Love was a Frances Bean. Yes, something did come out of Courtney Love in Pacific Northwest at her house in Seattle that was near this park called Vendetta Park. I always call it Vendetta Park. It wasn't a Vendetta Park, but Kurt Cobain lived beside a park, which is really interesting. Anyways, Courtney Love did hang out in Portland, Oregon, and up the road there on the I-5 is Tacoma, Washington, and in Tacoma, Etiquette Records was born and formed by the guys from the fabulous Wailers, and they unleashed the Sonics. The Sonics are a band that can blow away anybody, anytime, anywhere, and they're still going today in 2009. The Sonics had a big punk hit with the song The Witch. How did I become aware of the Sonics first? Well, I first heard the Sonics on a recording by the Pointed Sticks from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. They recorded a version of the Sonic song, The Witch. What I'm holding right here is something that summarizes the Pointed Sticks. This is not the Pointed Sticks doing The Witch. This is the Pointed Sticks doing Out of Luck, and it is on the Stiff record label in England. The Pointed Sticks were signed to the Stiff record label, home of like Madness and all those ska bands, in '79 from Vancouver. And you can actually check them out in the movie Out of the Blue. But I think it's amazing, like the Canadian band, the Pointed Sticks, made it to Stiff Records. They were signed because I think there was a vacationing Stiff record exec that went to the Commodore Ballroom and saw the Pointed Sticks play an amazing gig to a sold-out audience. So they were signed to Stiff Records. So this is the Pointed Sticks release on Stiff Records, and actually it's the only release on Stiff Records because the record never came out on Stiff Records. It did come out though on Quintessence Records, and The Witch is on that record, and that's how it all goes back to the Fabulous Wailers. By the way, this record eventually was released, I think in 2008, on a Japanese label, the CD version of the Stiff release. However, this kind of symbolizes Vancouver, BC. Like, we get there, we get signed, but not quite, but eventually we do get the props.